Hey, good evening, family. Welcome back. This is Joe, No Picks Podcast.
Hey, what's going on, fam? This is Ty.
So we're going to get back to the conversations. We see that people are enjoying the political pieces. It's a presidential election going on right now. People are campaigning, so we're going to keep that energy. We're going to keep talking about topics that we think are important to the voter bases, to both Democrats and Republicans. But here's a couple clips, but the first one's really short. We want to have this conversation because we're going to get more conservative viewers coming to the page, people from all walks of life, and we just want to make our views very clear, as well as having these sometimes complex conversations that I feel like we need to have as a society, as a people to move forward with some issues, right? So that's what motivated me to kind of put this up. So I'm gonna let it rock out, and then Tom, I'm gonna let you see what you think, initial thoughts. So the first clip is really short, but the second clip is the one I really want to show, okay? Because I want to make sure we juxtapose both these images.
All right.
Or maybe if you want, we can pause and then talk about the first drawing that's short, and then go into the second one. What you think? You want to just go back to back, or?
Yeah. Let's pause, talk about it, and then talk about the second one.
All right. So tell me what your gut reaction is for this clip. So y'all might have already seen this, right? All right. So here we go.
We're not a racist country, Brian. We've never been a racist country. Our goal is to make sure that today is better than yesterday.
Somebody who wants to be the president of the United States to say something that stupid. When you heard it, you're like, oh, can you? I wish I could go back on my TV because, when some people,
to rewind it to see.
Because you can't think that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't think that racism doesn't exist in this country. Like, right now, like I say, America was built on racism. Like I say, segregation, Jim Crow, slavery.
Yeah.
Even now, we got anti-Semitism that's through the roof.
Yeah.
In the last couple of years, Asian people have been getting mistreated.
Well, she has a town hall tomorrow night, Jake Tapper.
You know what I want to do?
What?
Listen, I want all the black people here in New York. We're going up to New Hampshire. We're going to have the whole audience black. That's what we're going to do. And when Jake Tapper said, we got a question,
All right, hold on. I'm gonna pause because Chuck about to go in and do his thing, but the spirit of the message was in the beginning, right? And Nikki Haley's. So just off cuff, like, what you think, bro? Like, what do you think about her comments? Like,
I mean,
it's gonna be big. This is gonna be a big issue. That's why I'm like, what do you, as a person who's,
Yeah. So my thing is, all right. So let me address Nikki Haley first. I've mentioned this on a couple other podcasts. I think she's a chameleon. I think she will say whatever she feels like she needs to say in order to get where she wants professionally.
Okay.
So I don't really respect her. First of all right, let me cut her a little slack because I think most politicians are like that, right? Actually, all of them.
Right.
I think all politicians are like
in America. I'd say most of them, yeah.
But her, I think she's a little bit more unique because like you can pull them, you could watch any news channel and see her say something and then say the opposite thing like a second later, right? Like there are clips like that out right now. Like she'll be like, oh well, if Trump is our nominee. Or if Trump is running, I won't run against him because I respect what he does and blah, blah. And then he's running, and then now you're running against him, and now you're saying bad things about him. So I don't think that she's just serving whatever. I think she's in it for her personal financial gain. And I don't think she has any loyalty to Democrats or Republicans. I think she could be a Democrat or independent tomorrow, and it wouldn't bother her at all. So I don't think she has any super loyalty to Trump. MAGA Republicans or Republicans in general or Democrats or anybody. Like anybody. I think she's
a grifter. They call them grifters. They go where the money is. Pretty much, she's a grifter. So do you think she believes her statements though that America is not a racist country? Do you think she believes that, or is that just like because that for me sounds absolutely ridiculous? If you were born in this country, like you don't have to know everything about critical race theory to know like that's just an inaccurate statement.
Yeah, I think she sounds ridiculous. I don't think she believes that. I don't think she believes.
You think some of her voter base believes that?
I think, of course. I think some of her Republican fan base believes that, which is why sometimes it makes it hard to identify with Republicans because a lot of Republicans try to remove the fact that racism is a part of the country. Racism is just a part of the country. I would venture to say racism is a part of every fucking country. I would venture to say racism is a part of human history. So to pretend that it's not a part of America, is
exactly,
it's just a part of whatever. Like I guarantee you, Right, like let's take in black countries, like again, like racism exists, bro. Like
colorism exists.
Right, the Rwanda genocide. It was black versus black. It was like black people. It was one group was called the Tutsis, and whatever. Like it was
the Hutus and the Tutsis. Yeah,
they were against. They were all black. One group was like known to be more light skinned. I guess they have European heritage, right? Like
that was created though, bro, right? They made one side feel like they were better than the others, and then armed them and made them commit that genocide.
What I will never say, I will never give people a pass for things that they do autonomously. Like if black people are not a monolith, So it's like, listen, you and I have our own mind. I don't think I can convince you to go kill a random white person, no matter what I say to you. I don't think I could be like, yo, you know what? Hey, Joe, go kill a random white person. I don't think I could so I don't buy that. I don't buy the whole like, okay, cool. They killed those other dudes because they wanted to. They could have chosen not to. They could have listen.
They could have, yeah. They could have chosen not to.
They could have chosen not to. My issue with those kind of like extreme like policies or ideas is that like when it comes to like black people want to convince other black people that white people convince black people to kill other black people. That doesn't make sense to me. That's never made sense to me. What would make more sense to me is if you know if the whole like if I'm on a plantation and there's 1,000 black people on a plantation and there's 50 white people running stuff, how about all the black people kill the 50 white people? That makes more sense to me. What doesn't make sense to me is that generations later, it's so ingrained in us that all these white people convinced us that, you know, this group of black people is better than the other group of black people, so this black person should kill this black person. How about we all just kill the white person? I don't agree with either one of them, but if we're going to come with the logic, that's what makes more. I'm not buying. Yeah. White people convince black people to kill other black people. That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, yeah. Well, so for the example that you use, so you're right. So I think that no matter you know, the Hutus were the ones who were killing the Tutsis. You're right. The act was horrible. I do believe that even at the end of the day, they could have made the decision not to do that. But it was these external influences, these external forces that had them fighting each other, so that they could, you know, solidify the resources and get more control of the area. But they basically empowered one area using ethnic differences, saying that the Tutsis were inferior somehow, like the same shit they've done to other people. This is what I mean, like that race, ethnicity is used as an instrument. This is what I mean. Like people who have power will use those differences and make people fight and kill each other, so that at the end of the day, they benefit from it, the people at the top. And that for me was another case. That was another example of that, of people being manipulated through race to commit horrible atrocities, bro. The shit happens. Right. You know what I mean? The Nazis did it to the Jews. You know what I mean? They did it to them as well. Like people use race or ethnicity as a way to fucking get people to do horrible things. It's a part of history.
But let's take the Nazis and the Jews, right?
Yeah.
No one gives the German people that were, you know, you could say brainwashed by Hitler a pass. Y'all motherfuckers are equally guilty. Right. Nobody trying to hear that shit. Nobody trying to hear that, oh, well, you know what? We just listened to Hitler and his teaching, so, you know, we not to blame. No. You're to blame, too. You did the stuff. So I don't care about this shit.
Right.
So, no. You're an adult. You're a human being. You have a brain. You can say no. Like, listen.
Yeah.
No. I don't buy this shit, bro. Like, but let me take it back to Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley is one of those. She's one of those people who will say whatever she needs to say in order to be successful in politics, right? However, I don't believe she believes what she's saying. I don't believe that she thinks that America. Like, listen,
I don't think she believes it either. I think she knows she's lying, but I definitely don't think she believes it. Yeah,
she say dumb shit all the time. When she said that with the when a reporter asked her, well, what was the main reason for the Civil War? Anybody, a fourth grader right now could say, well, you know, slavery,
and she didn't even mention it. She didn't even mention it, bro. So, all right, so I'm glad you saw that too, because I was thinking about that in the back of my mind too. I was gonna be like, how do you feel about her response to the civil rights question, like the Civil War question?
So she's just a liar. She's just
okay. All right, all right, so cool. All right, cool. So we agree on that. I think she's full of shit as well. And I'm glad that we could agree on that too. And so now the second clip, and then we'll really get into this conversation, right? It's a little bit longer, but not too long. But this is the one I really want to hear your reaction to, and I hope that the community chimes in, y'all, because this is important conversations. You know, we're going to be choosing our next president soon, and there are still some issues as a community as a whole that we have not addressed yet, and we don't know how to address. So we're going to keep talking about these things. Yeah. So let me pull up the clip right now. I had it pulled up, and then I closed my my screen, but I'm pulling it up now. But yeah, bro, I really don't think Nikki Haley believes it either. All right, here we go. So now I got it up. All right, so this was curious. Let me know what you think. I think so too. Yeah. That's why I loved when Vivek was going in on her, because that was incredible. All right, here we go.
She'll probably run as a Democrat next year.
All right, so let me know what you think about this, because this was tough. Shorty was cooking for a bit, so let me know what you think. All right, here we go.
Was the party that started to dig us out of that in this country and to improve us every day, which she never actually says. DeSantis says it, and I'm surprised at that, because that's part of our proud history as Republicans, the fight against slavery.
Can I just say something though? I mean, we talk about this as if it is the past. We've covered stories where people have died, have been killed because of racism. Jacksonville, Florida, the Dollar Tree shooting. I mean, this is happening right now. And this is not just the Black community, right? The Japanese internment. I mean, those families and descendants are still here. My last name is Alford, not because my family chose that last name. That is the name of the slaveholding family that owned us. I know the plantation that we are from in South Carolina, and I am here. My father desegregated a school. He remembers those things. So why do we have to talk about it as if it is past? This is right now. The pain is real. The survivors of racism, we are here, right? And so if you don't have a message around that talks about the future, that talks about the present, you cannot lead this country.
Well, Republicans.
All right, so I could let it cook a little bit more to see what his response was. Do you want to see his response, or do you feel like you kind of got what Shorty was trying to get at with her message?
I mean, it's your call. I can hear it or not. It's up to you.
Okay, all right, well, then I'll leave it there. And this was her response to the Republicans. Oh, okay, well, let me see what she says a little bit more just to make sure the guy doesn't have like a response to counter
Republicans do have a message around it. And
it's to ignore it. It's to say that we are colorblind, which does not solve the problem.
But it is to say that we are undoubtedly a better and stronger nation on this front today than we were 10, 20, 40, 50, 150, 180 years ago. We are undoubtedly better as an American people than we ever have been. And that will be true again tomorrow. And
why is it? It's not because we ignored it. It's because people called out what was uncomfortable and they challenged the status quo. And they said, we need to live up to what the American dream actually is. Those were the people who were demonized. We just celebrated Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was killed. He was killed. He was not considered a favorite or a darling of America because he stood up against racism, against poverty. And actually, the greatest threat was that he was uniting poor white people, right, with poor people.
All right, she's cooking, but I'm gonna stop there, right? So this, all right, so we just talked about episode hasn't come up yet, but we're hoping to tie in some of these episodes this week so there's some connection, right? Or at least overlap with the theme. So all right, bro. So we just went from Nikki Haley. Now we got Shorty talking now. They're addressing Nikki Haley's comments. What do you think about what Shorty was saying, and what message do you have to like the Republican Party, you know, as far as the ones who are campaigning? Like, how should they tailor their campaigns, or like should they be addressing certain things? Like, what do you think? Anything, bro? Anything about this? It's an important topic.
So race with Republicans is a touchy subject. Is a touchy subject, right? Because all right. So white people, let's just take the politics out of it, right? Let's take Democrats, Republicans out of it, in my opinion, right? So let's just.
All right.
White people are uncomfortable because I've gone to school with white people. I've banged with white people. Listen, like I got an extensive experience with white people, like real rap. White people are uncomfortable talking about race because it has a negative connotation for them.
Right.
If we want to talk about somebody famous, what was it? It wasn't Matt. It was not Matt Damon. It was the dude married to Jennifer Lopez.
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck. He made the news a couple years ago because it turns out that his family were like, you know, big into the slave trade or whatever all those years ago.
Was that the Henry Gates show where he like does the DNA stuff for like famous people? I think it was like
remember.
Henry Louis Gates.
I don't remember. No.
Okay. All right.
I'm not remember, but he was big into. But it was like he was so embarrassed of it, and he, you know, paid money to try to like hush it up.
Right.
From what the story was. Right. And like white people in general just are uncomfortable talking about race, right? For obvious reasons, right? Because white people, you know, enslave black people. Not all white people, but you know, white people
not all, right?
Enslave black people. And I think that's always a touchy subject, right? But and if you relate it to times today, I don't think racism is systemic anymore. I don't like since.
You really believe that?
I really believe that. I think that if you're born black and you're born white, obviously there are more white people in the country than black people. So if you know, like say like sociological studies, right, have shown like, okay, well, more attractive people get or you know tend to be better off than less attractive people, right? More fit people tend to be better off than less fit people. Like the more attractive that you are, and the more that, you know, the person doing the hiring identifies with who you are, right? Like you're better off for it. And there's more white people in this country than any other group of people, right? They make like 65% of the country. So So if I go for a job and Timmy goes for a job and Matt's doing hiring, Timmy may have a better opportunity than me because Matt identifies with Timmy more because maybe they have the same, maybe during the interview they had the same likes, maybe they talked about fishing, maybe they talked about whatever the case is. Yeah. And so I think that plays a part to an extent, but I don't think it's enough for a black person to be unsuccessful in America. That's where I draw the line. That's where I'm like, okay, cool. You can still be successful. You and I are still successful in our own right in America. Right. It's not, we didn't just throw our hands up and say, hey, you know what? I ain't white, so fuck it.
Right.
So no, so I don't like, I think it plays a part to an extent, but not to the extent, it's not a make or break. I think what you do and the decisions that you make and how you carry yourself, how you hold your head up, that's what matters.
Right.
I guarantee you, listen, the job that I have now, I guarantee you I got the job over some white people.
Right.
That want the job. I talk to white people all day. And they're like, damn, how you get this job? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, like, because I'm me and you. How about that?
You don't think they probably thinking affirmative action. That's the race quota right there. That's how he got that shit.
When I'm sitting down at my desk to a customer, I'm like, yeah, I'm me and you. How about that? That's how I got the job.
No, that's real.
How about this? You apply for the job and let's see you better than the other person, and then maybe you'll get lucky. But nah, like I don't think it's systemic. I don't think that if like you want a certain opportunity in life, you can't do it. What I think is the people who complain about it are the people who gave up.
Right, the people who have already accepted it, became complacent, basically accepted their lot in life and said, "This is what it is, and I'm gonna stay here."
That's what I think.
Right,
that's what I think.
So, me too. I think so too. Well, I'm glad you chimed in. And this is such a frustrating part of American politics, right? Because somehow, inevitably, race is going to come in, right? Whether the Republicans are going to be talking about critical race theory and how it's spreading, or they're going to talk about, affirmative action, or they're going to talk about all these different things, these race things that are hurting our society. Or you have the other extreme on the Democratic side, where they're all pandering to certain identity politics, pushing, everything is a racial issue. These people are oppressed, using them to try to get leverage in their campaign trail, and then like delivering nothing for that actual community once they vote them into power. Like they do the same crap. So but it's interesting that we have one side that tries to either hush it up or just not talk about it or completely forget about it and act like it doesn't exist. Nikki Haley saying this is not a racist country, or the people who just go overboard and take the identity politics and then run rampant with it and then can't figure out why they keep losing to Republicans because they keep pushing the bullshit identity politics. So like how it's so difficult for me to navigate, and this is why I'm an independent voter. Like, listen, I'll say it to the community. We said this several times. I'm not a Republican. I was raised a Democrat. I'm registered as one because we have a closed primary, so I have to register as a Democrat to vote if I want to vote. But I don't support either party. I consider myself an independent. I'm frustrated with both sides. I don't play into the bipartisan, like Republicans against Democrats. That's not a game that I like to play. Like, so if people in the comments want to shout out the Democrats are worse, I'll probably be like, you're right. Democrats are a piece of shit. And if Democrats want to talk about the Republicans, I'm like, you're right. They are pieces. Like, to me, that's where I'm at. Like, I can find common ground with both sides because I'm trying to stand outside of that two-party system, which I think is bullshit. But like, how do we navigate the fucking race in this campaign trail, bro? How do we go about? How do the Republicans promote their campaign and how to bring other people in into their voter base, like let's say minorities? Like, how do you do that?
Listen, from what I've been seeing, bro, and what I've been hearing from other people, yo, there are a lot more black people open to voting for Trump than motherfuckers want to realize.
That's crazy, right?
Yo, there's a lot
crazy,
more black,
right?
Like, they may not admit it.
Latinos too, bro.
Latinos, bro,
for him being so xenophobic and against, they voted for him in droves, bro.
Yo, how about this? Wouldn't you be pissed off if you're a Latino, right? From, let's say, I don't know, let's say Mexico. You're Hispanic. You're from Mexico. You did it the right way. You stayed in this line. You waited 7, 10, 15, 20 years in order to come here legally. These motherfuckers come across the border illegally. I don't think those people think like, okay, cool, just let them stay. Cool. Because if it's me, I had to suffer. I had to grind. I had to do it the right way. And you just walk your fucking ass across the border?
I see what you mean.
Fuck out of here. I'm not Latino at all, bro. I'm 100% black. But if I'm from Honduras, if I'm from Ecuador, I did it the right way. I had to stay in my unfortunate situation for years upon years upon years to legally come here. Right. I'm not trying to hear no Venezuela. Okay, cool. I had to do this because my family. I was hungry too.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here. I can understand why a Hispanic in that situation will go and vote with Republicans, because the Democrats are like, listen, if you come, it is what it is. They're kind of advocating like, yo, like there is no rules, so you can just come if you want. Listen, if that's the case, if I'm from Haiti, if I'm from China, listen, nigga, find a way to get to Mexico and walk your ass across the border. How about that? Then you'll be here, and if the Democrats get in power, then they'll just give you a fucking license. They'll let you live here for free. They'll put you in a 5-star hotel in New York somewhere.
That's crazy.
I mean, like, then fuck it. So what are the rules? Like, what benefit is there for somebody to come legally? Because they didn't want to be where they were either. That's which is why they applied to come to be here. So now, like, that's bullshit.
So I agree with you, right? This immigration shit is huge, right? It's a big fucking issue. It's becoming more polarizing. I saw the videos of the people trying to tell the migrants that were in the hotel in New York, you have to leave. And the migrants are like, what are you talking about? We have to leave. Why do we have to leave? It's cold. It's wintertime. We ain't got no bread. And it's like, well, y'all niggas, y'all here. That's not our responsibility. Like, y'all got to figure it out. We can't do this anymore. So this is becoming a huge problem. So this is my question to you. And I know because there are other voters who think like you, or there's some overlap. Do you think it's worse that America lets in migrants and then gives them all of these resources that could go to Americans? What do you think is worse? Do you think that's worse, or do you think funding, say, Israel and the war in Gaza, or funding Ukraine and sending hundreds of billions of dollars to these wars and foreign aid, like, do you think these are both equally bad? Do you think one is worse? Because it's still resources that aren't going to American people.
Right.
These are resources that are going to foreign countries to fight their wars, right? Whatever the agenda behind it is, I'm not going to assume, but clearly there's some reason why we're sending hundreds of billions of dollars to fight these foreign wars instead of better housing, feeding, protecting, educating Americans. Which do you think is worse, though?
I mean, I hate to be that guy, but I would say they're equally bad. Like, like, I would say they're equally bad. Like, I think it's ridiculous that we give Israel, who isn't a poor country at all, to giving them billions of dollars to do it. Like, listen, if they want
Ukraine, we just gave up on Ukraine, but for a while we gave them bread, bro. Billions of dollars in aid. So I'm just curious to see if Republican voters or people who are leaning towards Republicans, like, do you guys keep the same energy for these foreign wars? Because people like Carl Tucker will tell you, listen, we shouldn't be in these wars.
Right.
Like, Tucker has really impressed me lately. He's been on Jimmy Dore's show doing some rounds.
Right.
He's been really he's really like anti-war, and he's just like, why are we funding all these wars and helping all these foreign countries when America needs the support? Right. So there are conservative thinkers who feel that way. So I'm just trying to see, like, gauge like where someone like you is at, where it's like, we see that the migrant issue is an issue. We see that resources that could go to us are coming there. But, like, how do you feel about, and then you just said they're both bad. So I agree with you. I think that they're both problematic. I agree.
Don't give them shit. Don't give anybody anything, yo. Like, if like that's where I stand on it. Don't give the migrants anything. Don't put them in 5-star hotels. Listen, if I can't go to New York right now and go get a 5-star hotel without paying $700 a night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no, that's some bullshit. So,
and Philly's a sanctuary city, bro. I didn't know we were a sanctuary city. Apparently Philadelphia is. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, according to one of the members who engaged in we were talking about the executive order in Philly, and somebody asked, like, is Philly a sanctuary city? And I was like, I honestly don't know. I've never heard Philly been called one. And somebody else was just like, Philly is
one.
But I'm like, should we be anticipating buses of migrants coming into our city too? Because, bro, we don't have the resources right now to take care of that. Like, we can barely take care of our own stuff. Like, if we had buses of migrants coming in, good Lord, the amount of chaos that would cause in a city, bro. We're not equipped for that right now. We can't take that in right now.
I
don't know, bro. But listen, I'm glad we talked about this. I want to keep talking about this. To our conservatives, listen, we consider ourselves Black conservatives. I'm Black and Latino. Ty's full grown Black, America grade beef Black. You know what I mean? So we definitely have conservative views on things. We are not a monolith. We don't believe everything the Republican Party says or anything conservatives believe in. Same thing with the Democrats. Like, we consider ourselves independent thinkers, but we want to have these conversations because you guys are chiming in now. We did the video about migrants, the migrant crisis. We did the video about the Philly executive order, and people have voiced your concerns. Race is coming up in the comments and things like that. This is why we're like, well, let's talk about this now, because who's going to be leading our country? And is that person taking any of these race issues or race topics into mind? It's important. This person's going to be leading our country. We're not saying run on identity politics, but we can't just act like racism or race isn't a thing. Like, that's just not something that we can do. We can't just act like it never happened. So anyway, any final thoughts, Ty? You good on this?
Let me just say this. I think Vivek is the future.
I like Vivek. I hate that he dropped out, bro. I would have voted for Vivek.
It's not his time. It's like you season him a little bit, put him in a pan, put some salt, put some pepper on his ass.
Oh, I loved him. He was scorching Nikki at the debates, bro. I was loving it.
Put some adobo on his ass. He's gonna be good in like 15, 20 years.
All right, y'all. Well, chime in. Let us know, and until next time, y'all stay safe.